Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's GentooMan here, also known as Rainy, and today's story time is kind of a funny one. We're going to be talking about Hot Cheeto Girls. So for those of you who don't know what a Hot Cheeto Girl is, it's like the girls who are more so in like the popular crowd in school. You know, they got like the big fake nails, the fake eyelashes. They're usually wearing like the Lululemon leggings and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm talking about based off that, right? And the reason they're called Hot Cheeto Girls is because like I think Hot Cheetos was like a trend for a while, and like I don't know, they eat Hot Cheetos. I don't know what to tell you. It's like they kind of went from Hot Cheeto Girls to Takis Girls. They started eating Takis, but I don't know, Hot Cheetos is more recognizable, so that's what they're called. Anyways, a good couple years ago, I had a couple of them in my class, like a good amount of them. And this story time is about one in particular, and we'll call her Eve. Now, I didn't really talk to these girls, as you know, as I'm sure you can assume, they weren't really my crowd. I didn't really talk to them. But one day at my school, we had this period after lunch where we'd kind of just sit in a room and read for a while, because I wanted to encourage kids to read. But basically what ended up happening is I didn't read a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes I would, but oftentimes I'd just like pull out a piece of paper and like draw something. And sometimes I'd even bring in my PSP and just play video games, because my school had a no phone policy, but my PSP wasn't technically a phone, so I was able to get away with that. But basically this one day I was just drawing. I was drawing myself and I was drawing my friends just because I felt like it, like in my own little style. Because I used to draw a lot, but I don't really anymore. But anyways, I was just drawing people basically. And this girl, Eve, she sat in front of me with this other dude. And she kind of just turned around and was like, "Hey, are you drawing people?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, I'm just fucking around. Like, I'm just drawing like me and my friends and stuff." She's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, it's cool that you can draw like that. Can you try drawing me?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure. Like, I can try. Like, it's going to be really bad because I can't draw, but yeah, I can try." So basically, I did that, and I showed it to her, and she liked it. And from this, she kind of took a liking to me. Like, not really a liking to me, like, had a crush on me or anything like that. Like, there was no, like, romantic liking to me, but, like, we're almost, like, friends, kind of, you know? But because we were, like, sort of friends, that meant that she would sometimes bring me into situations that I didn't really want to be in. Because you know how these, like, Hot Cheeto girls, they're, like, the popular girls, so they're the ones getting involved oftentimes in, like, the partying and the maybe doing stuff in school that you shouldn't be doing in school. So I got dragged into that sometimes. So one day I was in gym class, and in the gym class at my school, we had to basically, like, at the beginning of the year, or the beginning of each semester, we had to, like, go around the gym and kind of pick what we wanted to do at any given time. Like, we'd be given a couple options for, like, each week we'd, like, change things that we're doing, and we'd have to, like, basically sign up for stuff. And so I had signed up for this one just called walking. Like, it was literally just going for a walk around the area that the school was in, and, like, you basically got to go walk in the forest, and it was fun. It was a good unit. It was one of my personal favorites. But on this day in specific, my friends weren't there, so they kind of just left me alone in gym class, so that was nice. But even though my friends weren't around this day, Eve was there, and she was in this unit with me, and so was the guy she was sitting with in class. We'll just call him Tom. So Eve and Tom were there, and I wasn't really hanging out with them, but, like, they were there, and I didn't really have my friends to talk to, so I kind of just, like, was there. I just kind of went for the walk with everyone, enjoyed the scenery, you know, pretty normal shit, enjoyed the trees, enjoyed the grass, and just stuff like that. And I had noticed that Eve and Tom had they had started out walking together, but Tom had kind of, like, broken away to go, like, hang out with his friends. So Eve was kind of, like, walking alone, and I kind of felt bad for her, because I'm like, she looks kind of lonely, but, like, I didn't really do anything about it. And yeah, eventually she kind of walked over to me, was like, "Hey, Rainy, I have, like, kind of a secret to tell you." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" And she reaches into, like, she didn't really have any pockets, because we're all wearing, like, the same gym shit, you know what I mean? Did your school make you do that? Like, you have to wear, like, the t-shirt and the shorts that the school provides for you. She reaches into her back, basically, and she pulls out this little small bottle of Fireball. So basically, she had brought alcohol with her to school and had brought it on this walk. And I just kind of say, "Oh," like, I'm kind of unfazed, but I just kind of hit her with, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, like, I was thinking about drinking it with Tom, but he kind of, like, left and is, like, doing his own thing, so, like, do you want to drink it with me?" And I just kind of told her straight up, I'm like, "I'm not really trying to drink in school. Like, I'm not going to snitch on you. If you want to do it, you do your thing. I'll be cool about it. I don't really care, but I'm good. I'm not gonna have any. And she was really understanding. She's like, oh yeah, no worries. Like, I'm all good. I'll just do it. But like, you're not gonna tell anyone. Like, you're not gonna tell the teacher, right? And I'm like, no, like, I'm not gonna snitch on you. That's not really cool. So you do your thing. Just like be safe, and I'll like watch out for you, I guess. So the walk continued, and like every so often I'd look back at Eve just to kind of like make sure she's okay. And she was making a pretty significant dent in this fireball. Like, I checked back, and she was like almost done. Like, she was gone. She was sufficiently sauced, is one way to put it. And eventually she kind of comes up to me, and she's like trying to be quiet, but she's slurring her words. And she's like, Rainy, like, I have to pee. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we're getting close to like out of the woods, and we'll be back to the school soon. Like, do you think you'll be fine until then? And she's like, yeah. Like, I'll be okay. I'll be fine. So I'm thinking, okay, good. Like, we'll get back to the school soon. Her friends can take care of her. All will be well. This won't be my problem anymore. And, you know, just a little bit after I'm thinking that, I look back to check on her again, and she's gone. She is just gone. Like, I don't know where she is. I try looking around. I don't see her. And I don't really say anything. And right as I'm thinking about all this, we reach the edge of the woods. And my teacher is trying to like take attendance to make sure that like everyone's still with us. And she realizes that Eve is missing. And not only that, but she also notices that Tom is missing, which I hadn't noticed. So she kind of just like goes walking around. She says like, okay, everyone stay here, and like I'll go look for them. Except she looks at me. She's like, Rainy, I saw you were like sort of hanging out with Eve. Do you know where she is? And I said like, no, I'm sorry, I don't know where she is. She must have wandered off. It's like, okay, well, you come with me too, just so there's like a couple people. I'm like, okay, it's a bit of an odd request, but I'll come. So we walk around the woods for a little while, kind of retrace our steps and go a little bit into the different directions. And it takes us a while, but eventually we do stumble across people. And we stumble across Eve, just kind of passed out on the ground with her pants down. And we find Tom with her there, and he's just kind of standing over her. And the teacher's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's exactly what she says. And she yells at him, and he panics. He's like, no, like, it's not what it looks like. I promise. Like, I found her like this. Like, I saw her wandering off. She looked like she was acting weird. And, like, nothing happened. Like, I didn't do anything. Like, I just found her like this. Like, I just showed up here. And the teacher kind of just looked at me. She's like, Rainy, go back to the group. Like, go right now. And so I listened. I went back to the big group. I had some people asking me, like, what happened? Like, I heard yelling. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I kind of separated from the teacher, which wasn't true, but I felt like I shouldn't, like, disclose this information. And what I think ended up happening is the teacher called one of the other teachers to come pick up Tom and Eve, because they were kind of involved in this situation that needed investigating, I suppose. And after that, we kind of just went back to the school. Like, gym class was over after this. I got changed. I went to the rest of my classes. And I guess all of Eve's friends had kind of heard about what happened. So they were, like, turbo bitches to me for the rest of the day. Like, they hated me. They're like, how would you let that happen to her? Like, how would you let her get into this situation? And I'm thinking, like, I know Tom. Like, Tom, he's kind of like a douchey kid sometimes. He's a troublemaker, but he's not that kind of guy. Like, I've known him for a while. He's not that kind of guy. He wouldn't do something like that. And, like, he and Eve are very close. And they're not even close like that. They're just friends. So I know he didn't do anything. And I said that to them, and they're like, oh no, we know that. Like, we've talked to Tom. Just like, why would you let like Eve get caught by a teacher like that? And I'm like, that's not my fault. I did everything I could. But basically they were just like a fucking bitch to me for the rest of the day. Like, every last one of them. And I didn't see Tom or Eve until the next day. And I saw Tom when I was coming into school, and he's like, bro, like, you believe me, right? Like, you know I didn't do anything. I'm like, yeah, bro, like, I know. Like, if any of the teachers, like, ask me about it, like, I know you wouldn't do that. And he's like, hey, thanks, bro. Like, I appreciate it. I'm like, yeah, no worries. I'll catch you later. And I end up running into Eve as well. And she's like, oh, hey. I'm like, hey. So, I don't know if you hate me now, but your friends do. And she's like, no, I don't hate you. Like, that was entirely my own fault. And, like, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. And I'm like, oh, like, no worries. Like, I'm sorry you had to get in that situation. She kind of, like, awkwardly laughed. She's like, oh, it's okay. So despite all that, she and I were cool, but, like, her friends never really forgave me for basically doing nothing. Like, I don't know what their problem with me was, but they never forgave me. So moral of the story, maybe one of them will be chill, but the Hot Cheeto girls are usually just looking for something to be upset about. And yeah, maybe don't be friends with them unless they're really nice. I don't know. This kind of blew up in my face. There's not really a good message here. But anyways, guys, it's pretty much going to wrap up the story time. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.